Howdy folks, and welcome back to another episode of Tyria Talk. My name is Richie, aka Bog Otter, and this show is all about Guild Wars 2. Today is episode number 57, and today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts about the revamped Tequatl boss fight. This is the new world boss that, with new mechanics since the Tequatl Rising patch. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you will know that I was actually fortunate enough to have participated in the world first kill of this boss on the Blackgate server, and it was a really cool experience. And but I've had numerous failed attempts and actually 2 more successes since my first kill. And I thought, it's been almost a week now since this content has been live. I thought I would share my thoughts about what I thought were the positives and negatives about this encounter. So I'm going to start with just talking about where I thought that they probably went right and went wrong with some of the mechanics of the fight, and then just like how the communities reacted to certain things, and then just my personal feelings on the subject. So in terms of the actual overall boss fight, it is it's much more interesting to do now, right? You don't just stand there in a big group and just spam your abilities, right? You can't ignore the turrets anymore. The turrets play a big part of the fight. You can't just, stand there in a pile and hope to beat it. It's got a very tightly tuned enraged timer, right? The 15 minutes. A lot of people fail this event, especially when they don't know what they're doing. They fail this event and they've barely even touched the health on Tequatl. And it actually seems quite impossible to maybe the first few times that you do it. But there are, in terms of an in-depth strategy, I'm not going to go over that in this video. I have another video up on my channel if you'd like to watch what the strategy we use to beat it. But in general, it is a much more interesting fight. I like that, there's the different phases at 75%, 50, and 25% where you have something else to do. I like that some of the mechanics, bring you underwater, and it's kind of surprising the first time you did it. And if you have to, even the jumping over the waves is an interesting mechanic. So overall, it's much more fun to do. And I don't love the fact that there is an enraged timer on it, and that's the main way to fail this event. I do like that there is another fail condition in the fight. Like if you don't succeed in protecting the batteries and charging up the mega laser during those those kind of that dynamic event that happens every 25% health, you do get that massive tidal wave thing that just wipes the whole party out. I like that kind of fail condition. That is great, but just the overall having an enraged timer, they do that with a lot of the world bosses now, and I don't know, that's not my favorite mechanic, though. I do recognize that having an open world boss makes it kind of difficult to have fail conditions other than that. Not that it's impossible, but it makes it a little bit difficult. So I recognize that challenge. I think overall it's more fun to do. So that's a great boon. Now there are a couple things that I don't like about the mechanics. Specifically, you rely very heavily on the 6 people that are in the turrets. Right. This is an event that they ArenaNet has said, and I can pretty much confirm. You need a ton of people to do this, right? And I think their number was you need 80 well-geared people to do this. But the thing is, a lot of it hinges on the 6 people that are in the turrets. And if random people can just jump in the turret, right? You can be an organized group on like voice chat, and some random guy who's not on voice chat can just go, oh, wander over to the turret right as the thing starts and maybe jump into it first, and you can be in serious trouble because of that. So I don't love that in such a large group event. So much is relied upon the 6 people that are in the turrets knowing what they're doing. They have to know how to poison cleanse. They have to keep themselves alive, which it seems to be the key thing a lot of them have problems with, is actually cleansing the poison around them while they're in the turret, but also keeping the armored scale debuff off of Tequatl so he doesn't put the big bone wall up and different things like that. So it's a very crucial role, and it's kind of strange to only have 6 people in charge of that. But that's I guess in the long term it's a minor concern. It seems that people are getting the hang of it more and more and understanding what they're supposed to do, and I think over time people will improve. Now, in terms of the overall difficulty of the fight, I do like that it's challenging. I've been a big proponent of more challenging content in Guild Wars 2. I definitely like to see this upward trend of or this ongoing trend of more challenging content being put into the game. You know, we've seen the Liadri boss fight in Queen's Gauntlet. You know, the Tier 4 candidate trials, the Tribulation mode in Super Adventure Box, though I do have some issues with that. Actually, no, I don't have issues with the Tribulation mode. I actually like that. And, you know, I like there being challenging content, and I think a lot of people do as well. I think there is a lot of frustration attached to this fight, however. And I think a large part of it comes from probably my major concern, and most people's major concern, is this whole idea of the overflow. You know, we can't just allow, you know, I understand they can't just allow as many people as they want to enter a zone. There has to be some sort of restriction so that the performance doesn't suffer that greatly. But the problem is, you know, it's a challenging fight, and certain servers are more organized and more populated than others, and it creates a situation where everybody wants to kind of jump in and help out on that server so that they can get their kills and their achievements and have fun as well. And I totally understand that, and it was probably something I would be, you know, doing as well if I wasn't already on Blackgate. The problem is, since I got the first kill, it's been very challenging for me to actually get on my Blackgate server's entrance of Sparkfly Fen. You know, the first day when I got my kill, I was in the zone for like 9 hours straight. Right when the patch went live, I got there, and I got into the Blackgate proper Sparkfly Fen, and I didn't leave there. Like, you know, there was times where I had to, like, you know, have dinner or, you know, check with my kids or whatever and help them with homework and such. But, you know, I kept checking back, and I was there for every one of the Tequatl boss kills. But, you know, you're making sure that you're basically keeping your spot in the instance, and that has been going on pretty much nonstop since the patch. People have been, staying in the zone and trying to keep their spot. And with the downside of that is, a lot of people they have to go AFK like I was doing. But, you know, fortunately, I kept the sound up really high, so I could hear any time, you know, Tequatl was spawning. But there are lots of times when the boss fight spawns, and there's dozens of people that are just AFK and not actually present, but they don't log off because they don't want to lose their spot. So it creates a lot of frustration. There's frustration from people who can't get on the servers that they want to, or the servers that they're a part of, or it's just that they can't even play with their friends or guild mates, right? That happens a ton. Like, I just want to play with the people I want to play with, and we're on voice chat together, and we just can't get into the same instance to fight the same boss, and that's frustrating. And then there's the compiled issue that people save their own spot, they go AFK, and then they're not contributing to the boss fight. And, so that's all around very frustrating. Now, I don't have a grand solution to that. I did see somebody post on Reddit that basically did a suggestion to have, like, overflow servers be able to have, like, a list of them, kind of like you did in Guild Wars 1, where you can have the slices of an instance. You can go to, Lion's Arch number 1 or Lion's Arch number 2, and there were international versions, and you can actually just talk to your guild on voice chat and say, hey, everyone's going to go over to, Sparkfly Fen number 7, and you just can pick and choose which one to go to, and you can kind of organize large groups and coordinate like that. And I think, there's probably some issues with that as well. Again, you don't get over the whole issue of there being a cap to the number of people, but at least if you can coordinate a large group of people and have them go somewhere specific like that, you would be able to, have more control over organizing large groups of people. Because here's another thing that's happened. There was a time where the Blackgate server itself, we're all sitting there on voice chat right when a patch hit. So we all got kicked out of the game and loaded back in, and none of us, actually not none of us, but a large portion of our people on voice chat were now no longer in the same instance. So what did we do? We actually went to a lower population server, and we all met up there, and we told them to jump on our voice chat, and we helped them get one of their first kills of Tequatl, using the combined forces of Blackgate, who was on voice chat, and some of the locals over there. So, but that was our solution to it. So overall, it's kind of an interesting problem to have, and I hope they figure out some creative way to kind of fix this going forward, because the overflow servers definitely have limitations, and it's definitely the source of a lot of frustration for folks right now. Now, the other interesting thing is there's some servers that are just low population, or they don't have a lot of leaders, or maybe they're not, they don't have a local voice chat for the community like some of the other servers do. So it's creating a situation where I've heard from people that my server hasn't beaten it yet. It's too hard. And I think we've seen success more and more from servers as the week progressed. In the beginning there was only a couple servers, and now a lot of the servers have definitely joined the ranks of being able to beat this. It's the type of thing that I'm hoping that players can just start to really figure this out, and even without voice chat and without those things, start to beat. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I know some overflow servers have beaten it, but I believe they still had heavy leadership, either typing out what to do, or had voice chat. I have not been involved in an overflow kill myself. In fact, every single overflow attempt I've made has just ended very poorly. The best I think I've done in an overflow was 50%, which isn't terrible actually. That was the best one. Most of them end around 95% or 90% or so of the life total. So, I'm hoping that it gets to the point where people can do it, and I hope they don't nerf it. I think a lot of people would agree with that we do like this challenging content and stuff. Now, in terms of whether or not I think this is their solution to raiding in Guild Wars 2, because so we've heard some rumors in the past, right? Or maybe not even rumors. They've said in the past, ArenaNet has said in the past that they are looking to implement their version of raiding. It's going to be different than what we know from what raiding is going to be, but they are looking into doing some large group content like that. And we've also heard from recent interviews, my buddy Matt Visual actually at PAX Prime interviewed Colin Johansson, where he said that they're not looking at doing any instance content right now, like dungeons or something for groups larger than 5. So it's kind of interesting. So we're trying to reconcile that. Is this the kind of world boss? Is this their answer to raiding? And I will say, on the one hand, me jumping on TeamSpeak with 130 other people trying to coordinate strategies and working on this boss fight, that felt very similar to a raid that one night that I was doing that. I've jumped on TeamSpeak a bunch of other times since, and it still has kind of a little bit of a raid-like feel. But the main difference to me between doing this and doing the other raids is it's hard to schedule this type of thing, right? You can't just say, hey, on every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. we're gonna, from 8 to 11 we're gonna jump on and we're gonna do this, because there's some you have to wait for the spawn point and stuff like that. So that's part of it. You can't schedule this. The other part of it is you don't really choose exactly who's going to be doing this with you, and you can't just have a group of friends or a guild do this. It involves everybody kind of near on your server. And I talked about earlier how it's even hard to get everybody in your group or everybody in your guild to actually do it with you. So those two main differences make it so that it doesn't really feel like raiding, and that's okay. It's okay to feel different than that. But I'm just not sure, or at least maybe I'm just hopeful that this isn't their only thing that they're going to come out with that is more large scale group content for the game. Because I still want more things to do with my guild. Right now we do guild missions every Monday night, and it lasts about 2 hours or so. But that's it. That's the only time my guild really gets together as a large group. We run some dungeons sometimes. We check out the new content together. But I would like to be able to say, hey, Mondays we do guild missions, and Thursdays we do guild blah blah blah, and whatever it happens to be. Doesn't guild blah 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 sound like a lot of fun? I think it does. So I'm hoping that there is some sort of answer to that in the future. But in the meantime, this kind of content is quite interesting. I wonder if they're going to tackle more of the bosses like this. I know that they made some of the other ones more challenging and put in rage timers on them and whatnot, but they really haven't been revamped to the level of this. And Yeah, that's about it. Let me also talk about the rewards real quick. I do like that they have unique skins, unique ascended weapon skins for this boss. I love that there's a mini pet of Tequatl, which looks awesome. But I don't expect to get these things every time I kill the boss. I do admit that it was a little disappointing to go through the world first kill and really try hard to down this boss and really get nothing special at all. I got a rare and some blues and greens. But yeah, and I understand that you can't just give out an ascended weapon as a guaranteed drop or anything, because there'll be so many people running around with those right now. But it would be cool to have some sort of little token thing that can show off on your character that that you've beaten the fight at least once or whatnot. But I'm okay with everything else being super rare. If I do happen to get one of those rare skins or the mini pet, it's going to be a pretty cool prestige item. And I guess the Sunbringer title, to be fair, once you get the achievements for that, the Sunbringer title is a cool thing to have emblazoned next to your name. So I don't have a huge problem overall with the rewards that they put in place. Now I'm being fairly critical and this whole video about my feelings about this fight, because I do think there are some problems with it. But I will end by saying that this experience for me, I was very fortunate to be part of this world first, and I've never been anywhere close to a world first anything in any game I've played. I will say this not only goes to probably my top experience in Guild Wars 2, this is probably one of my top 10 memories of any MMO that I've ever experienced. So while I do think that there are some issues that need to be smoothed out and maybe iterated on for the future, I'm going to just recognize or at least want to state that this has definitely been one of the most fun things that I've done in Guild Wars 2, and was a really awesome experience that I will treasure for a long time. So that's going to wrap things up. Let me know what you think of the Tequatl fight, and points that you agree on, points you don't agree on. Let's discuss it in the comments below. And please, guys, hit that like button. That really helps me out, and I would appreciate it muchly if you did so. And subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can be notified when I go live with future videos. And that's going to wrap things up, and I hope everybody has a great day. Take care.